Today we're going to talk about the best loadout. Now, there's all kinds of great loadouts, but you want to have a good loadout for a specific type of game you're trying to play. So when you're playing Call of Duty, obviously you can play Battle Royale. Maybe you're playing some multiplayer. Maybe you're playing Mosh Pit. Maybe sometimes you're playing Plunder. Each one requires a different loadout. We're going to talk about a specific loadout for playing multiplayer Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit is a great way to hone your skills and get really good at taking down enemies. So when you go into Battle Royale or you go into Plunder, you're ready to kill. So let's get to it and let's check out our best loadouts. Now, if you're watching this right now, you know probably how to make your loadout. But just in case you don't, you go up to Weapons up top, you go to Edit Loadouts, and then you've got your guns and your different loadouts. Now, I've named mine a bunch of different names, crazy names, for all kinds of different things. So first I want to talk about the best loadout for playing Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit's usually 6-on-6. I like to play in hardcore mode. If you're not familiar with hardcore mode, when you play hardcore mode, it's usually one-shot kill. But any kind of mosh pit is going to be fast and furious, lots of headshots, small different spaces, going to be eking around corners. So my favorite loadout for that scenario is using the Grau 5.56. So the Grau 5.56 is right here. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to open it up in the armory. Let's go look at the standard Grau 5.56 taken to the Gunsmith. Now, I have completed a lot of the missions, so I've got this nice gold skin on my, or camo on my gun. But if we were to go back and look at some of the camos, we'll just go back and take the camo off it for a second. There you go. Let's put no camo on. This is the standard. I've got a bunch of stickers on mine. But let's go look at some different attachments you can put on that will make the Grau 5.56 really, really good. Now, standard one is going to come looking like this. I'm going to turn off all my stuff. We'll go down to just nothing. We'll go down to our bare gun. So there's the standard gun. You know, we've got a couple of stickers on it, but standard Grau 5.56. Excellent gun, even in its standard configuration. But if you really want to make the Grau 5.56 really sing, I prefer this barrel. And it is this, it's the ZLR Drifter A08. So if you want to make the Grau 5.56 really sing, try out the ZLR Drifter A08. Now what this is going to do is it's going to compress it down with, and it has it's going to have an underbarrel attached to it. You know what's great about this is you don't have to run two different perks here, or attachments. You can just run one, and it comes with the underbarrel and a short barrel. Why do I like that? Well, it opens up one of our little boxes here, and if you're not familiar with these little round little dots, these round dots are the number of equipments that you're allowed to have on a gun. You're only allowed to have 5. You've got to unlock them, obviously. So in this Grau 5.56, rather than me having to put an underbarrel on it and put a barrel on it, I can choose a ZLR, and it gives me both. What I like about the shorty barrel is it's going to up my mobility. Now the key here is you want to be able to go get a nice solid group the key here is you want to get a nice solid group of advantages on a gun. And so you can see here the control is going to make it so the gun doesn't pop up and down, right? So you're trying to shoot it, you can't keep it on the person. If you ever use one of those guns, especially the stock ones, they're bouncing all over the place. That's what's good about the control. So you want to get a higher control, and that's going to take that down. The mobility is actually your character's mobility. So you can run faster when you have high mobility. A lower mobility, like you would get from a sniper rifle, means you're going to plod along slowly and you can't get much accomplished. The fire rate is obviously very important, especially when you're playing in Mosh Pit, because you're going to want to pop off quick rounds to be able to go hit these guys. And if you're playing hardcore, that's even more important. The range, that's pretty obvious. A sniper rifle would have a long range. Obviously, some of these assault rifles and SMGs are going to have short range. And if you put a very short barrel on it, there's less rifling in the barrel. Of course, fake rifling because this is a digital game. But the idea is that less rifling in the barrel. It means your bullet's not going to come out with as much velocity. It's not going to go as far. So shorter barrel is going to give you less velocity, but it's going to make your mobility go up so you can run faster. Damage, obviously we want every bullet to do a lot of damage. With an SMG, you're going to have smaller bullets, you're going to do less damage. With an assault rifle, you may shoot a little slower, but you've got bigger bullets, so you can get a little more stopping power. And then accuracy, always important, right? Being able to go put the target right on your opponent and hit them every time. Okay, so what we're trying to do is find a good combination of things here to make this gun have the best loadout, which the best loadout would be the best equipment on that gun that's going to make it the most effective in the type of play that you're trying to do. In this case, we're talking about Mosh Pit. So what I would first mention is I would like to use this barrel, this shorty barrel, which is going to give me a lot of mobility. And it also, the ZLR barrel has a built-in underbarrel. So now I don't have to get an underbarrel. I've only used one dot, but I've managed to be able to go get 2 advantages. Okay, so next let's add a muzzle. I really like the monolithic suppressor. If you notice over here, it's going to give us a little more accuracy. It's going to up our range because it's adding a little extra rifling to the gun. So we have that shorty barrel on it. This is adding more barrel back to it, but it's also giving us suppression, so our enemies won't hear us. And on top of that, we're also getting a little more range and accuracy. It does take down our mobility because we're adding more weight to the front of the gun. When you add a little more weight to the front of the gun, it's going to give you slightly more control of it. So we're going to choose that. Okay, so now we have monolithic suppressor and we have the ZLR barrel. We've used 2 of our dots. So what next? I prefer not to use lasers. A lot of guys like lasers. I personally don't like it because it gives away my position. And I find it distracting to have that green thing going all over the place. So I did not put a laser on it. I also do not use an optic. This is some people really like the optics. They're cool, they're fun, makes you feel like you have control. But the problem is when you use an optic, the time it takes to go up to get an eyesight is actually a lot slower than if you're using the metal sights, the iron sights. Iron sights, you get to move up quick, so it's a kind of a mobility thing. So if you're moving fast and you have those iron sights, it's really good. Okay, so I do not use an optic. On the stock, I will add a stock. You can go with a no stock, which gives you high mobility. You'll see your mobility things goes way up. That's an option. And I do go with that. You can also go with this XRK Strike Light, which is kind of a good combination. The FSS Blackjack, that gives you more control, gives you a heavier gun and more control and more accuracy, but your mobility goes down. So kind of the middle area here, I think you want mobility. So I'm going to go with no stock on this one. Okay, next thing. I've now used 3 dots. I have 2 dots left. What am I going to do? Well, I have 3 different things down here that I haven't talked about. Let's talk about ammunition. I always believe the more ammo you can get before you have to reload, the better, especially in a gunfight in Mosh Pit where you're going to have multiple opponents coming around the corner. So I'm going to go with the 60-round mag. All right, so that magazine is going to give me 60 rounds till I have to reload. Extremely important. Okay, so now I got 2 left. I got rear grip and I have perk for 1 spot. All right, a lot of guys love the rear stippled grip because it gives you control, but I like to go put FMJ or Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket, if you notice, jumps up your damage. So I just feel like that's a really good combination. You get high mobility, you get high damage, and you got a pretty decent accuracy. This is my setup for the Grau 5.56, and I think this is one of the best guns for playing almost in every different version, whether it be Mosh Pit or I'm going to a Plunder. I like to take this gun with me. I feel like for close encounters or even a little further away, medium encounters, this is the best gun. Okay, so what else do I bring with it? Well, if I'm playing in Mosh Pit, I generally feel like I run out of ammo and I need to be able to go switch quick because I'm still in such a big gunfight and I want to take out as many opponents as possible. So I run the overkill. And if you go into perks, you go to the second perk, choose overkill. Overkill allows you to carry 2 primary weapons with you. I think this is a huge advantage when you're in the game. I will sometimes do this loadout when I'm playing in Plunder, or even in Battle Royale, because I like to have the extra gun with me. I feel like it gives me an advantage because as soon as I'm done with the 5.56, I'm immediately pulling out my M4 and I'm able to go take out some more kills. All right, so what else do I carry? I carry a Semtex. What is a Semtex? Semtex is just a grenade that has some sticky stuff on it. The reason I carry this, especially in Mosh Pit, say I'm playing on Shipment, which is a level that's really small, compact, a lot of people on it. You always have that one joker that's coming around carrying the shield, and the shields are just so overpowered in the game. The only way to stop a guy with a shield is to stick a Semtech on it. Just throw a Semtech, it'll stick to his shield, and if the guy's smart, he runs towards you to try to blow both of you up, but at least you get him. If you throw enough, you get really good at throwing the Semtech, you throw enough of him at that guy with the shield, he'll give up on the shield and start playing for real. And then the last thing I always carry is I carry Stim. I like the quick hit. What Stim does is when you're playing, it will stick you with the Semtech, and after you've been hurt, and it gives you a quick heal and get you back in the fight. I use this. It seems like in every game I play, at the end it says I'm the number one in healing myself. It keeps me in the game longer, and in almost all scenarios I carry the Semtech and I carry the Stim. Okay, so that's my Mosh Pit setup. Now let's talk about when we go into Plunder. I love Plunder. It's probably my favorite game type in Call of Duty. And when I go into Plunder, I like to carry pretty much this combination. I like to carry an M4, and my secondary I like to take an RPG. Now sometimes I take the primary weapon, my M4, and I will switch it up, and I'll go with my Grau 5.56. Go to my armory. I've got one made. I got two made. I got one called Tater Tot and one called Fast and the Furious. Now, if you haven't made your own blueprints, you should. It's pretty cool. You can go in there. You can save them the way you like them. Give them a cool name, and then you can pull them in the future, just like you can with the ones that just like the ones Activision and makes or Call of Duty makes, right? Like Shadow Sight and the standard Grau. I make this one. We'll go with the Tater Tot, right? So I'm using my Grau 5.56. And then I love to take in the RPG. In Plunder, it's so much fun because when you're flying down, you see a guy getting in a helicopter, you just wreck his day. I've taken out whole squads with this thing. One of the keys to using the RPG, though, is you've got to make sure that when you use the RPG, that you're taking in your field upgrade is the ammo upgrade box, right? The new munitions box. Because when you fly in to Plunder and you're carrying in that RPG, you're not going to have you're only going to have 2 shots with it. But if you take the munitions box, it will give you 6 shots with it. And oh, by the way, it recharges, so you're always getting more shots with your RPG. You can have a ton of fun in Plunder when you've got a constant RPG rounds that you can bring in. So I highly suggest that those 2 things, you can have a lot of fun. A lot of times I'll go into Plunder and I just want to wreck other people's games. You know, you can run around and get money, or you can just drop on a piggy and just be tossing, RPGs at them and driving people crazy, which is a lot of fun. Okay, so those are my 2 favorite setups for playing in 2 different game types, Mosh Pit and Plunder. And check me out back on this channel. You can come back and please leave a subscribe or leave a comment below. Let me know what you'd like me to review. Take care.